Hi, I'm Blake from Techno-Buzz.com, and today I'm bringing you what you need to know: Windows Phone 8X by HTC. This is our quick summary review. If you're looking for our full-length review, click the annotation on your screen now to get yourself over there. Otherwise, let's get started with what you need to know: Windows Phone 8X by HTC. So, the Windows Phone 8X by HTC is HTC's flagship Windows Phone device, and as such, has the best specs of anything in HTC's current Windows Phone lineup. This guy is powered by a Qualcomm S4 1.5 GHz dual-core processor. It has 8 gigs or 16 gigs of built-in storage. This is an 8 gig model, and 1 gig of RAM. This guy has a 4.3-inch Super LCD 2 HD 720p screen featuring Gorilla Glass 2. This is quite a nice screen. I'll get into that in a little bit. It has an 1800 milliamp hour battery that is non-user removable. It has an 8 megapixel camera with LED flash on the back and a 2 megapixel camera on the front. It also has Beats audio processing built in, which is an exclusive to HTC, as well as HSPA Plus and LTE support. Alright, now let's get started with the pros. First, I'd like to really compliment the design on this guy. HTC decided to, go a little bit bold with their design, and I think it really paid off. So we have this kind of soft touch plastic polycarbonate design. It's unibody. I like how the plastic kind of comes through on the speaker grill here. So if you have like a blue one of these phones, the speaker grill will be blue. I don't know, it just has a really nice kind of look and feel to it. It's not the lightest phone out there, definitely not as light as the iPhone 5, but it is still fairly light. It's comfortable to hold too. The size they chose is very good. That 4.3-inch screen is easy to hold in your hand, and it just kind of has this sort of eye-catching design that really not many other phones have. They just pull it off really well. Next up I would say is I'd like to, the processor on this guy here running on top of Windows Phone. As you guys probably well know, Windows Phone runs well even on the slowest of processors. I'm talking, Lumia 600 here, really slow processors, and Windows Phone still able to handle it without a problem. And, putting in a dual-core processor at 1.5 gigahertz dual-core processor at that, really makes everything in Windows Phone snappy. No, even if you had a slower processor, it still would be. But you go to do something like launch an app, and boom, you're right into the game. Everything's just kind of a step above, and it's really hard to tell the difference between a lower end Windows Phone and this particular Windows Phone. But I must say, it is noticeable. The LTE on board this guy is blazing fast, as you can see by one of my most recent speed tests here. Or if I do another one, the LTE speeds on this phone are tremendous. So if I'll hit start here, I'm in an area with pretty bad coverage for LTE, but I'm still getting about 90 megabits per second. And if I remember correctly, I only have 1 or maybe 2 bars of LTE here, and I'm still getting 20 down, 5 up, which is just tremendous. Let's actually see. Right now, I'm at 2 bars of LTE. So the LTE performance on this guy is great, but there is a flip side to that, and I'll get to it in a second. Next up is call quality. If you're speaking to somebody on this phone, both you and the other party can hear each other nearly perfectly. It is by far the best call quality I have seen on a phone in quite some time. It does surpass the iPhone. It surpasses the HTC One X. It is really great. It's impressive call quality on there. The screen, as you can see, is very vibrant and colorful, even though it is an LCD screen. It is, just so you know, 342 ppi, or pixels per inch, and things do come very clear on here. So if I pop open, let's just say a quick video. It's very clear, and everything on the phone screen looks really nice. This is a 720p video for my channel. Now, so the screen is another definite one-up. It has wireless hotspot support. Up to 8 users can connect to it simultaneously, and it does work very well. You get a very minor reduction in speeds. Not really a whole lot of a big deal. The next thing is the video quality. did some sample footage on our video camera, and it actually takes exceptional 1080p video for a cell phone. It really is nice. It's very clear. I almost considered trying to film something with it, like an actual episode of Techno-Buzz. It is very, very nice. Yeah, so I'm going to pop in that quick sample footage from the rear-facing video camera, and we'll be back in just a second. So, now that we've talked about the good, it's time to bring out the bad. And there are a few things. Not really major things, I would say, but they are things to be considered. The first is going back to the LTE radio. I find that the LTE on this phone drops a lot. Now, that could be to do with the Rogers network, which it's operating on, but I highly doubt it. It just seems like the antenna kind of like I said, it's hard to explain. It just kind of LTE drops, it goes down to just standard HSPA plus for a few seconds and comes back. I think it's probably just a software glitch more than anything else, but it is something to note that I have been experiencing. Next up is the camera. While sometimes the camera can take exceptional pictures, other times it can take just plain mediocre pictures. It's not very consistent, and it really it's kind of strange how you can have two pictures you took in the same conditions and one looks great and one doesn't look so great. So just be warned, if you're doing quick shots of life memories, sure, it'll be fine, but it's not going to be something you're going to want to do portraits or anything too fancy on. Mind you shouldn't be doing those on a cell phone anyways, but it's definitely not the same quality as the iPhone 5's camera, for example. Now, another thing with the design is the buttons. The power button here on the top, as well as the volume rocker on the side, they are flush with the phone. And the problem with that is it makes them very hard to feel for if you're like trying to grab as to where the buttons are. And I don't know, just sometimes it makes them a little bit hard to push, and that does bother me a little bit. Another thing with regards to buttons, these capacitive touch buttons on the bottom, they're not the most sensitive, and I repeatedly find myself hitting them with something actually happening. And I just wish they were a little bit more sensitive, because they do miss a lot of my touches. And then the last thing that I did want to talk about, which is just a minor thing in this day and age, but is the fact that the battery is non-user removable. I personally still prefer phones that have user removable batteries. Some people don't care. I don't know. It's always nice to be able to have an extra pack of juice with you when you're on a long day's use. Now, speaking of battery life, that is another area where this phone does very well. For my average use, which involves sending about 40 to 50 emails a day, listening to music on it for a few hours, watching the odd YouTube video, making the odd phone call, it's lasted through the day fairly well. Gets to about 7 o'clock before it gets down to, I'd say, critical levels of battery life, where you're down to maybe about 10-15%. But I mean, if you use your phone a little bit less than I do, you'll easily be able to make it through a day. And as well, if you turn the brightness down. I usually keep the brightness about medium, but if you kept the brightness down, it'd probably last a little bit longer. So what's the verdict? Well, the HTC One X is a great Windows phone. Is it the top Windows phone? Maybe not. Is there some problems? Yes. But is it still a great phone? Yes, it is. Let's look at this again, right? You have a great design, fast processor, fast LTE, impressive screen, great quality. The camera's mediocre. There's a few design issues, and the phone does have a few software quirks which will be fixed over time. But overall, I would say that this is a very good Windows phone. It's a very high build quality, and it has those properties. When I take this phone out in public, people are like, "Oh, what's that?" Because it has that sort of unique design, and it really showcases that HTC is willing to take a risk and kind of go to a little bit different of a design. So yeah, I mean, the HTC build quality is obviously here. And they do deliver on what you expect from an HTC phone. So the Windows Phone 8X by HTC is a perfect example of what Windows phones should be, and why why you should consider a Windows Phone is because of devices like this. They take the Windows Phone operating system, which as it is a very, very competent operating system, although it does miss a few apps, but that will change and it will grow over time. It does bring this kind of unique, fresh look to the way you think of your phone, and it brings it and puts it onto a really nice hardware that's able to handle everything you throw at it. It's very fast, and what you have here is a quality package. And that is what it is. It is a quality package. The HTC Windows Phone 8X is a quality Windows phone and is definitely something I'd recommend picking up or at least looking at when you're looking to purchase your Windows Phone 8 device. Anyways guys, I'm Blake from Techno-Buzz.com and you've just seen what you need to know, HTC Windows Phone 8X. Now, if you want to see the full version of this review, the link is down in the description, or the blog post for this review. Once again, links down in the description. There I'll have all my sample shots and the few sample videos that I have done. And yeah, thanks for checking out this video. Make sure to like, rate, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Have you visited our website at Techno-Buzz.com? If you haven't, it's a great place to get all the latest in technology and gaming. Make sure to keep up to date on all things Techno-Buzz by following us on Twitter at Mr. Techno-Buzz. And if you have an idea for a future show, let our creators know by visiting us in the forums at forum.technobuzz.com. Thanks for watching.